Hi everyone, it's Dr. Barby here. I wanted to talk about what happens when you have a big fear food in recovery, and particularly also with intuitive eating. Whether you are in recovery from an eating disorder or disordered eating or chronic dieting, it all applies to you. The best way to get rid of a fear food is to be exposed to it. This means the best way to get rid of a fear food is to eat it constantly, to the point that your brain and your body know that this is no longer a fear food and it is a safe food to consume. If you think about your safe foods, those are foods that you don't necessarily need or constantly crave. In fact, these tend to be foods that you are able to have in your fridge or in your pantry without fear that you will overeat them because they might not taste as good to you. So the idea is to turn your fear food into a safe food. Might sound crazy, right? But it's not. If you think about it, there's a type of therapy for phobias called systematic desensitization. And that's a tongue twister, right? But the theory behind this therapy is you expose the person with the phobia, which is an irrational fear. You expose them to the phobia slowly and over again until the person realizes there's nothing to fear. The phobia might sometimes be there because phobias work a little bit differently. But then let's say you have a fear of heights. You would start off by looking at a picture of a mountain or thinking about being at the edge of a cliff. Then you might get on top of 10 centimeters and then 20 and then 30, and then you keep elevating them until you're on top of a chair, and then you are actually on top of a mountain, and you kind of expose yourself to all these little fears over time, escalating the amount of exposure and the risk, so to speak, because it's an irrational fear. The same thing will happen with food. So, for example, my main addiction or fear food is anything related to chocolate. In particular, since I have been diagnosed with a gluten intolerance, I found myself craving and not being able to control my intuitive hunger and fullness cues around brownies, because I'm not exposed to brownies all the time because most brownies have wheat in them, and I'm not able to eat foods with wheat given my medical condition. And so what I've been doing is actually buying gluten-free brownies and having them in my household. If it happens to be that one day I eat the entire box, that's okay. I'll just buy another box. And I'll keep buying another box until I don't feel the need to finish all these brownies at once, until my fullness cues can kick in, even my hunger cues, maybe to the point that, wow, I'm not even craving the brownie, and the box has been sitting there with 10 brownies for a whole week or a month or whatever amount of time it is, whether it's 3 days or a second, I don't care. What matters is that I'm retraining my brain to understand, to be constantly exposed to these brownies and understand that I have nothing to fear about the brownies themselves. And that really, if I'm not craving them, I don't need to eat them. And the more we restrict a particular food, the more we'll crave that particular food. So it's, for example, if I tell you, don't think about the yellow truck. Now all you can think about is a yellow truck. And a way to stop thinking about the yellow truck is, for example, if you tell yourself, oh, I'm okay to think about a yellow truck, but I'll think about it later. Or I allow myself to think about a yellow truck. Then you'll think about the truck for seconds and then you'll forget about it, no problem. So the same thing goes for your fear foods. I want you to choose one particular food that you feel like you either can't have at home or can't eat out. And for the next week or however long it takes, I want you to be having and buying this food, having it at home or going to that restaurant and buying this food whether it's every night if you go to a restaurant or if it's at home, anytime that you feel like you're craving it, eat it. Do not fear it. I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, if you eat this food enough, you will stop craving it, and then it loses its power over your brain, and then your body takes over the cravings, and you might realize that you are not craving that food at all anymore, or maybe you crave it every so often, but it's no big deal, and if you want to eat it, you can eat it. So this is desensitization of a food that is like an addiction food or a fear food, and this is a very easy way. Mentally, it's quite the challenge, but it's an easy way to just challenge yourself and keep eating these foods. Have a great day.